If bedtime feels more stressful than restful, you're definitely not alone. This is the Sleep Circle, where we test sleep tools, explore routines, and share what actually works. I'm Andy, and after years of dealing with chronic migraines and neck pain, I probably pay more attention than the average person to what makes a bed comfortable. Today we're talking about the best bed warming systems for winter. I grew up in Michigan in a house where a wood stove did most of the heating. The living room could be perfectly cozy, but by bedtime the bedrooms were another story. One Christmas, my family got electric blankets, and it was one of those gifts that did not sound particularly exciting until I got into a warm bed for the first time. I've used one ever since, including during the summer when the air conditioning is running, which my husband finds a little ridiculous. So I came into this already very pro-warm bed, but what surprised me is how different the current options are. We're not choosing between 5 slightly fancier electric blankets anymore. Some warm bedding from the top or below, others blow warm air through the covers, or others circulate heated water underneath you, and one builds the heating system directly into a thick mattress topper. Those differences are probably more important than whether one system reaches 109 degrees or 110 degrees. A regular electric blanket is still my baseline because I know exactly what living with one is like. You plug it in, turn it on before bed, and a solid half hour later you have warm bedding. Heated mattress pads do essentially the same job from underneath, and I can see why people like having the heat stay in one place instead of moving around with the blanket. I personally prefer the blanket. I like having the warmth around me, and I also inevitably start noticing the wires in the heated mattress pads. They can be designed to be barely noticeable, but give me enough nights on one and my body will eventually find them. With my neck already being annoyingly particular about changes to my sleep setup, I would rather not add another thing underneath me if I don't have to. They're also by far the least expensive option here. You can find plenty of heated blankets and mattress pads for well under $200. And if the only problem you're trying to solve is getting into freezing sheets, I don't think you need to convince yourself that you suddenly need several $1,000s of sleep technology. BedJet is where this gets more interesting because nothing heated is underneath you. The BedJet 3 is a small unit that sits underneath or beside the bed with a hose that directs conditioned air under the covers. Heat mode can warm the bedding in seconds, and turbo heat can run for up to 10 minutes if you want a fast blast of warmth. A single BedJet 3 is currently around $500 on sale, although its regular price is $699. What I like most about BedJet is that you don't have to plan ahead. There are plenty of winter nights when I'm already tired, my feet are freezing, and I've absolutely not remembered to preheat the bed 30 minutes earlier. Being able to turn on something while I'm brushing my teeth and then have warm air moving through the sheets almost immediately is very appealing to me. Couples do need to think about the setup though. If you both want completely independent temperatures, the dual zone BedJet uses 2 units along with its divided cloud sheet. The current package is $969 on sale with a regular price of $1,549. So when you picture this in your bedroom, picture 2 small machines and hoses rather than one invisible gadget inside the bed. That would not stop me from buying it, but it's something I want to know before a giant box showed up at my door. Then there are the water-based systems. 8Sleep's Pod 5 uses a cover over the mattress and a hub beside the bed to circulate heated or cooled water through it. Each side can be controlled independently with a temperature range of 55 to 110 degrees, which is especially useful if 2 people sharing a bed don't agree on what comfortable feels like. That would definitely come up in our house. I tend to want my side much warmer when I first get into bed, and my husband doesn't necessarily want to be included in that decision. With separate controls, I could warm mine up without changing his side at all. The other thing that 8Sleep does differently is autopilot. Instead of choosing one temperature and leaving it there, the system can adjust through the night based on your sleep and temperature preferences. I love getting into a really warm bed, but a few hours later, I might be kick covers off. I like that it can start out warm and then adjust once I'm asleep without me having to wake up and do anything. I would not spend roughly $3,000 on a pod just because my sheets were cold. Pod 5 normally lists at $2,999, and autopilot is required for the first year, starting at $199 annually. There's also a maintenance insert for the water system that 8Sleep recommends replacing every 6 to 8 months. Older pods developed a reputation for leaks, so that is a fair concern to bring up. The Pod 4 and Pod 5 use a redesigned tubing layout and automatic daily priming intended to reduce those previous stress points. At that price, I'd need it to earn its keep all year. The cooling, separate sides, and automatic temperature changes are what make it more interesting to me. If I just wanted warm feet in January, this would be complete overkill. ChiliPad 2.0 also uses water, but the experience is a little less centered around sleep tracking and automation. You have the mattress pad connected to a dock, and you can control the temperature from 55 to 115 degrees. Single zone setups start at $15.99, and dual zone configurations are available if you want separate temperatures for 2 sleepers, and there's no subscription. Oddly enough, one of my favorite things about it is the physical nightstand remote. There's an app too, but if I wake up with a migraine at 2 in the morning, I don't want to find my phone, light up my face, open an app, and start hunting through menus. Give me a dial that I could reach in the dark. The water system does mean there is some upkeep. It uses distilled water and system cleaner, and you'll occasionally need to top it off in the reservoir. That's not an enormous chore, but it is more involvement than my electric blanket, which asks almost nothing from me besides remembering where I put the controller. Perfectly Snug is a little different because the heating and active air cooling are contained in a roughly 2-inch topper, so there isn't another machine sitting beside the bed. Larger sizes can have independent sides, there's no subscription, and it can automatically start preheating an hour before your scheduled bedtime. Prices currently start at $14.99 with a queen at almost $2,000. It also has a dedicated foot heater, which feels almost unfairly targeted to someone like me. I'm one of those people who can be perfectly comfortable everywhere else and still have feet like ice. My bigger hesitation would be the 2-inch topper. Because of my neck pain, I'm pretty sensitive to anything that changes how my mattress and pillow work together, and 2 inches is enough that I would notice. Someone who isn't as particular about mattress feel might love having everything contained in a topper with no water tank or hose next to the bed. But for me though, I need to know my neck was still happy with the setup before the foot heater win me over. Look, there are so many options out there now that you can really tailor this to how you already like to sleep. If cold sheets are your main problem, you can keep it simple with an electric blanket or mattress pad. If you want faster warming, separate temperatures for 2 people, or cooling automation, there are systems that can do all that too. It may seem a little complicated at first, but I think that's actually the good part. You don't have to change your whole sleep setup around technology. You can figure out what you want the bed to do and choose a system based around that. We're all about better sleep, one night at a time. Subscribe to the Sleep Circle and sweet dreams.